was a time when a man could walk into a barbershop, sit back and relax and escape the cares of the day, while a skilled craftsman turned his look from mountain man to classy gentleman. Well, neighbor, that time is now at Hanley's Good Timin' Barbershop. At Hanley's, they specialize in men's haircuts, including beard trims and classic straight razor shaves. They won't forget that hot towel either. You can schedule an appointment on their website at hanleysbarbershop.com. That's HANLEYS barbershop.com. Located in San Marcos, Texas at 322 West Hopkins between Selleck's and Gumby's Pizza, right in the old Thomas house. When you get there, talk to old Dal and let him know the boys at What's On My Mind podcast sent you, and you'll get a complimentary cold one or shot of whiskey. Hanley's Good Timin' Barbershop, where good times meet good vibes. Hey, this is Rob T.
Hey, this Big Will.
The week is almost through,
And there's a lot we thought through.
and we just want to share it with you. Some of it may be motivational,
Some inspirational.
but it will always be sensational. So sit back
And relax.
and check out What's on My Mind. What's up, everybody? How's it
Hey,
going?
what's happening, y'all?
We are here.
Live.
Christmas is over.
Yes, thank God. We made it.
And we're here. What's
Hey.
up, everyone? This is Rob T.
It's Big Will.
And you're listening to What's on My Mind. And we are excited to be here this week.
Yes, we are.
As you're listening right now, guess what? It's New Year's Eve, y'all.
Yes.
That means at midnight tonight, we can kiss 2020 goodbye.
Hey, wait. I haven't agreed to 2021 until I read the terms and conditions, man.
If only it were that easy. If only it were that easy.
Yes.
So, that being the case, that's what today's show is going to be about. But before we get into that, if you have not heard last week's show,
I don't know why you're holding yourself out like
man, you need to go and listen to it. We had so much fun.
Yes.
We had Gaston and Miggy from the band Relent here, and we had them building a gingerbread castle, doing Christmas cookies. It was great stuff.
Yes, it was. It was awesome.
It was
the
so
video
much
was
fun.
better.
Yeah, and it was so much fun. Yeah, on the video, freaking Miggy killed Mario. It was a blast. We had a great time. My wife was with us.
She was.
She was also on that show. And speaking of that,
Hey, real quick
today,
before you make that announcement.
what's up?
So, you know how I get the hate mail?
Oh yeah, did we get some?
So, I'm actually surprised that Melissa didn't get us any hate mail.
Oh, cool.
So that goes to show that other people share your same point of view.
There you go.
That's a positive.
There you go. So no hate mail this week.
I'm too lovable.
That means I need to up my game.
Hey, something. I haven't really been seeing any hate mail from you either.
Man, I need to start offending people.
You got soft.
Anyway, so as you heard, my lovely wife has joined us again this week. How you doing, baby?
Hey, what's going on?
But there's more to it, y'all. We are excited and just really thrilled because starting 2021,
The family is growing.
that's right. What's on my mind is not just going to be Big Will, and Rob T anymore. It's also going to be Melissa. Or
What up?
yeah, we're gonna call her Missy for the show. What do you think?
Yeah, you don't have to.
Uh,
You want Melissa?
That was
Okay.
awesome. You don't have to.
I guess we're gonna call her Melissa. Or would you prefer Millie?
Melissa's fine.
I love how she keeps falling back.
I know, right?
Melissa,
All right. So yes, so there's gonna be three of us, and I am excited about that because I love my wife's input. And who knows, maybe one day we'll end up recording the podcast after we had an argument, and we'll just continue the argument on the air. That would make for great podcasting.
Yeah, because then everybody can tell me how I'm right and how you need to.
Wow.
Right?
Here we go.
Sure.
Ding ding.
Whatever. Anyway,
Watch.
Let's introduce our next guest host that's with us today. He's also part of the What's on My Mind family. He's more, in the background. We like to call him the Chicken Whisperer. Would you please help me welcome Mr. John Garcia? What's up, John?
Hey.
And I am really excited to have you on the show, and of course, my wife as well. But this week, what we're talking about is 2020.
Yes.
The year that was. Pretty much. This year,
Insert toilet bowl flush right there.
this year has been, oh my God, it's been one heck of a year to say the least. But we want to talk about it as a whole. We want to kind of talk about it as just the different things that stuck out about. Of course, COVID's going to be on top of that list, as we know, but there's some other things that happened during the year. So we're going to kind of do like a overview of the year 2020, and let's get started with it. So, Melissa, I know you did some research for us.
Hey, Melissa, the researcher.
She is.
I'm liking this already.
Yeah, in our marriage, it's the same way. You know, she always facts checks. She fact checks me anytime I find something. You know, like I find something on Facebook. Babe, this is the world's gonna end tomorrow. She'll fact check it for me. You know, things like that.
No.
And say, no, it's next week, Rob.
So anyway, but yes, she is an awesome researcher. That's her thing. She loves to do it. So correct me if I'm wrong, but the thing that sticks out to me at the beginning of this year, January, I don't know if it was January 1st or not, but I do remember one of the first things on the news hearing about was the Australian fires.
Yeah, if I remember correctly, I think it was kind of a carryover from December of 19. But yeah, like the bushfires were getting out of control pretty much, and
I don't even remember hearing whether or not they got them under control.
They have to. The country's not on fire anymore.
Well, yeah, I know, but like how long did it last? When did it, you know what I mean? Like when did it end?
I think COVID put it out.
Yeah, that's what it
good
was.
question, but I do see like 3 billion animals were either killed or displaced.
Jeez.
Let me see. The fires raged for nearly 80 days, it says. So,
Wow, 80 days. That's a lot.
Yeah.
A lot of koala bears dead. That sucks.
yeah.
Oh, man. So then right after that, I don't remember the date. I think it was in January though. Kobe dies.
Yep.
Do you have the date on that by chance?
I believe it was the 26th, if I remember correctly. Him and his, yes, the 26th.
Him and his daughter.
Yeah.
And man, that was out of left field. Nobody expected that. The world felt it. Did that affect any of you guys at all? I mean, I'll be honest, I wasn't really a big Kobe fan. I mean, it sucks that he died, especially his young daughter. But I wasn't like, God, I'm gonna sound like a jerk. I'm not trying to sound like a jerk. It just it didn't rock my world, like, you know.
Well, the thing is, like, Kobe was one of those people where even if you weren't into sports, you knew who he was. You know, he was a huge,
That's very true.
yeah, huge presence in the media. You know, I mean, unfortunately, positive and negative, but that was just something that was so just out of the blue. You know, he wasn't sick. You know, it was who's gonna think of a plane crash? You
Right.
know, and then I remember
Helicopter.
Helicopter. Oh, that's right. That's right. And I remember Rob and I were having lunch together, and of course,
that's
yeah,
right.
we were at a restaurant, and
Oh,
it
yeah,
was
I
on the
remember that.
TVs. Yeah. And I just remember just kind of looking up and seeing on the TV, like, oh my God, Kobe! You know, I mean, I don't follow him in sport, but I mean, that's a huge shock. So yeah. And then as time went on, that's when we found out that
Gigi was with
his
him.
little girl was with,
Yeah.
which was terrible. You know, just to think about.
Yeah.
You know.
And it was such a, I mean, it affected the world so much that I remember Will and I decided we need to do a show about it, and you can go back and listen to it. It's on.
a good show.
Yeah, it was a good show. We talked about not just the loss of Kobe Bryant and his daughter, but also just loss in general. John, any thoughts on that one?
I think it was more kind of aligned with what Melissa said. Like, it was a huge deal, and it kind of reflects his impact because, like, people like just like me who aren't into sports at all, when he died, it was a shock. And it was just a moment of, like, mortality for people. You know, it's just like, oh, shoot, this happened to this famous guy.
Right.
You really don't think of famous people dying tragically
Right.
like that. They die of natural causes, but for some reason, a famous person is kind of elevated to where stuff like that won't happen to them.
Right.
Just as a unwritten rule.
Right.
So it was a very shocker that he died that way.
Yeah, very true. And then around that time, you were also hearing little rumblings here and there about this virus
that was happening on the other side of the world, and how it was
the Kung Flu.
how
Dun, dun,
he said that, not me. Wow.
We knew it as Covelito.
We started hearing how it was starting to spread, and I don't know about you guys, but I was not really like scared about it. I didn't think it was going to affect us at all or anything like that. And then lo and behold, it
affected us.
Boy, did it affect us.
I don't think anybody was. I mean, I'm sure some, I mean, it just wasn't something that we heard about. It'd been around, significantly before then, but it just wasn't on our radar.
Yeah. Yeah. So I don't want to kind of start talking about COVID now, because that's going to be honestly the big chunk of what this conversation is going to be about.
Yep.
But on your list, was COVID like the third thing, or?
I mean, I put it kind of more second, just because I think it was more around. I'm feeling like it was February when it really started buzzing.
Well, yeah,
But-
because we were in Disney World during the weekend of Valentine's Day.
Yeah,
And everything started getting shut down. I think it was 2 weeks after that.
It was in March. I remember distinctly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's kind of where I had it, because it was still the beginning of the year, and it pretty much defined it defines 2020.
For sure.
Yep.
So we'll talk more about COVID here in a little bit. What else you got on that list of yours? What'd you come up with?
Honestly, a lot of it's tied into COVID, but the BLM protests.
Oh yeah, the Black Lives
Wow.
Matter protest, yeah.
When did that actually start up? It sparked up from the George Floyd thing, right?
Actually, it was before that.
Well, BLM was already there.
Yeah, but I mean,
Right.
like the
Years.
protests really.
That started during Obama's administration, didn't it?
Probably.
Black Lives Matter. Yes, that's what I thought.
I didn't even think about. I saw her name and then I can't remember the
Breonna
one.
Taylor?
Yes, the one who got
Gunned down in
shot.
her own apartment.
Right.
I believe because she happened before.
She did.
George Floyd. So stuff started kind of really
Ramping up.
rumbling around then. Yeah, and
But it didn't come out to the public to after George Floyd.
what's that? The
Breonna Taylor.
protests?
The Breonna Taylor protesting.
No.
No, it came out before then, but I think it started to intensify when it came
Yes.
down to the
Oh,
George
because of
Floyd.
the,
thing.
the judge ruling and all that stuff, right?
Well, even before then, because of the fact that George Floyd was killed. That's actually when everything started. So we have to tie this back to COVID. I know we said we were going to talk about COVID right away, but we kind of have to, because now that I'm thinking about it, I really feel that this stuff that started to ramp up and all the unrest that started to happen, I'm not saying COVID caused it, but the fact that we got locked down, we had to stay indoors. All of y'all that are here in the room with me right now have experienced this, and I think you can agree with me that there have been times throughout this year when you've been at your low point, feeling depressed, feeling angry, feeling whatever the case may be, because of that. And I think it definitely intensified what happened as far as protests or riots or whatever. What do y'all think?
That can certainly have some. I mean, maybe with the unrest, it's really hard to say because that's such an incendiary issue on its own.
big
But
Was it thesaurus?
Hold on a second. I got to Google that word real quick.
but really on
She's all dumbasses.
oh bless y'all's heart.
It's that public school education.
I forgot what I was saying.
You
Sorry.
said incendiary.
No, it's
No, I forgot
incendiary.
what. Oh gee.
Are you sure you want to join this?
It make people mad. No, I mean it's now I can't even say it anymore. It's one of those issues that really riles people up regardless. But if you really think about this year, I don't know if it's just me or if it's just something I've noticed more with social media.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely a huge rise in that, which again, I didn't put it as an event per se, but something that really happened was just kind of the rise of technology, like in everything.
Well, because nobody could do anything, that we couldn't go to work, so we were at home. So what are you
Exactly.
doing? You're on Facebook, you're on Twitter, you're on Instagram, you're
Yeah.
Yep.
you know,
Snapchat,
Yeah,
TikTok.
that's where you're spending all your time. So if you're feeling a certain way about something that's happening in the world, you're going to voice that opinion. You know, and not everybody's going to agree with that opinion,
Yep.
which then causes for them to voice their opinions. And let's be honest, being that it is on social media, you don't have to face anybody face to face. You're going to say whatever the heck you want to say because there's no consequence. You know, I mean, personally, I think if more people were able to get punched in the face for something they say on social media, there'd be a lot less people saying crap on social media, honestly. That's just me.
I mean, yeah, it's just.
Why are you
and
so
it's,
quiet? I know you're the chicken whisperer, but come on, man. Gosh.
I'm waiting for my openings.
Here's your opening.
opening is yours, Mister.
No, you had something to say.
Now, now I forgot it because somebody decided to talk to the chicken whisperer, and now all I can think about is chickens and
Whispering.
not my.
And how delicious they are.
It's like interesting point. Being all serious, chickens, chicken whisperer.
I think for me, in terms of social media, it was the level of censorship that we've seen unlike before. And even now, like, it's been dampened down ever since all these CEOs went in front of, was it the Senate or the House?
Right.
For these, I don't know, they weren't trials, but I guess hearings or whatever to explain themselves. So now you have contradicting opinions on social media where before you wouldn't be able to see it. You just see the fact check thing and you wouldn't be able to see the post at all.
Right.
But now they still have that little filter, but they've put in, do you still want to see it? And then you're able to actually see it.
True.
So the level of censorship has decreased.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen something recently where it still has the fact check stuff under it, but it still shows it.
Yeah, it still shows
Yeah,
it versus
so-
before where you can see nothing at all. Yeah.
That has changed, but I mean, depending on who you ask, right? Because everybody's going to have that differing opinion.
Yep.
But I still think that they're censoring the truth.
Yeah.
You know, in my opinion,
Good point. Why do you say that?
because it is. I mean, there's a lot of things that are happening right now, and I'll be honest with you in this subject. My lovely wife and I disagree, but
Ooh,
there.
okay, we're gonna have to tear this band-aid off.
Well,
No, I told Rob a while back I don't do political arguments. I don't do that's just not.
Oh, what fun is that then?
well, basically,
That's not my jam.
yeah, basically, I mean, we have differing opinions, but that's a great example as to what the crux of this whole thing is in the country alone. There's so many differing opinions. No matter what you're talking about, you could be talking about COVID, you could be talking about politics. Everybody's got a differing opinion, but the problem is that they get so passionate about what their side of that opinion is to the point where I don't care if it's right, left, in between, whatever. They get so passionate that they're not even listening to the other side.
That's very true.
You know what I'm saying? Like the other side could be bringing facts, it could show you facts, and the opposing opinion is like, no, that's a lie, that's a lie, and they just don't want to hear it. And I think I think in 2020 that intensified a lot.
It became a lot about us versus them, which
Yes.
is scary.
That's very true.
Yeah.
'Cause I remember seeing videos on social media of just that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? It's just like, wow.
It's
Where has
all
the
or
humanity
nothing.
gone?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Where's the simplicity of life gone? It's
Yeah.
all about me and my agenda as opposed to you and the rest of the agenda.
Yeah.
Well, and the thing is too is that even with that, what gets me is, as everybody knows that listens to our show, we're Christians, and even Christians or people that profess themselves as Christians, yes, of course you can be passionate about what you believe in, but to the point where if you don't agree with what they're saying,
It's wrong.
it's wrong. I mean,
and it's against God.
Yeah,
It's like
exactly.
you can't be a Christian and believe blank, which puts God in a box.
So it's like
I'm
saying,
sorry.
Mama said that's of the devil.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
that's where the arguments do come from, because both sides are very passionate about both sides. You know what I mean? No matter the topic, and I know exactly what Melissa's talking about, just so that everybody knows the example that I always use is the whole abortion issue. You know, in my opinion, if you're a Christian and you vote for a candidate that's for abortion, why are you calling yourself a Christian? That's how I feel. Other people are not going to agree with that because, you know, they're going to come back and say, well, I am a Christian and I love God and I believe that it's a woman's choice. And so they're very passionate about their side. I'm very passionate about my side. But where it comes over the line is if I choose not to listen to their side at all and just automatically just say, no, I said, you're not really a Christian, so you're not really a Christian, and not listen to that. That's kind of the whole crux of everything that's going on right now. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah. That's your
Next.
opening, dude.
Oh, that's my opening.
Yeah, that's your
Oh,
opening.
Come on,
bad.
Chicken Whisper.
My bad.
Let's whisper.
I was waiting for Will to say something.
Said
No, I mean
something.
I've seen posts from pastors on both sides of the political party saying those extremes. You're not a Christian if you don't believe in this, and you're not supporting
Yeah.
this side of politics, and vice versa. And I kind of, I don't know, I teeter along those lines. You know, I'm forgetting the theologian's name, but there was a theologian where that idea of separation of church and state comes from. And even then, for me, like, it's a law. If it became a law, I mean, it kind of is already. People do it anyway, so I don't know what the big deal is in terms of still fighting for it if it happens anyways.
Right.
But just like in general, let's just say if we did make it a law or allow it to
Right.
happen, it's really up to the parents to teach their kids right or not.
Correct.
Just because there's a law there that says you can doesn't mean that you have to do it.
Correct.
You know, so that to me is, it's still a conflicting idea and thought for me on that kind of subject. But you know, going back to the whole, like, you're not a Christian if you don't believe this or this, I think that's very much a misuse, and it's overall just another instrument that turns people away from the church.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
Because if you really pay attention to people's stories of people who walk away from God, a lot of famous atheists, I would say maybe at least 50% of them walk away not because of anything that God, quote unquote, did, but more of whatever messed up thing the people of God did. And there's a huge difference between the two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I hear a lot about, misogyny or people just seeing, this judgmental, hateful spirit rather than, and that's not something that people want to be a part of. That's not how it's supposed to be, and that's I don't know about you guys. That's something that's really been messing with me this year is just how much hatefulness I've been seeing, mostly on
For
social
sure.
media, but just
Yeah.
that all or nothing, that it can get really disheartening.
I think we're that. So here's the thing, and this is something I've wrestled with, especially this year. And you know what? Other Christians might wrestle with this too. We were all raised in a different way. Those of us that were raised in the church, some of us might have been like John was raised in a Catholic church. I was raised in a Pentecostal church.
I'm just kidding.
Other people,
Tell people.
other people might have been raised Baptist. Other people Episcopalian, whatever. There's differences on how you were raised. So you're brought up with this certain belief on how to profess your faith or how to be a quote unquote Christian. And that's something I wrestle with all the time because you hear that side that says, well, as a Christian, you should stand up for your faith. As a Christian, you should call things out that are wrong, right? That's what you should do. That's what you are. But then you do look at that other side of it, like you were talking about earlier, and like what you just said, John, too, is that when you start to do those things, that's kind of what turns people off from God, right? It's like that's where it gets confusing,
Yeah.
and especially for me, that's where it gets confusing for me because I am a very strong believer in God. But if I'm being realistic, this year has been a very challenging year for me when it comes to God. Now, I haven't lost my faith in any way. I still believe God is the Father, and He sent His Son Jesus to die on a cross for my salvation, and He set me free from my sins, and I still believe that. But for those of y'all that don't know me very well, but I haven't set foot in a church since April. Well, I mean, I visited a couple and played at a couple services, but as far as attending regularly, I haven't done it since April. and everybody knows that listened earlier this year what happened there. I was let go from my position as a worship leader at the last church I was at, and that just left a bad taste in my mouth that kind of was piled up on the stuff I was already dealing with. So this year has been a very challenging year as far as my faith goes in that area. You know, like, do I even, like, you joke with me about it all the time, all the posts you send me and everything. But in all seriousness, I don't know if I want to go back to church. And I don't think I'm the only one that feels that way. You know what I mean? I think there are other people out there that are listening that feel that way. And of course, you're going to get Christians right away. They're going to say, well, you have to go to church. You know, you're supposed to go to church. And those are the issues that I have. I just have a hard time with it, especially this year. Especially this year, because of all the stuff that's happened this year.
I think this year, you know, with all the fallout and everything, this is a time that we need to go back to the basics in everything. You know, I mean, about love, about taking care of others, about, you know, holding each other up, showing God's love. You know, that's not something that a lot of people in or out of the church, you know, have been doing. You know, I mean, we go about our lives, we worry about ourselves, which, you know, yeah, I mean, you have to take care of yourself, but at the same time, you know, just tossing around this hatred, this anger, you know, taking your situations out on everybody else. That's not what, you know, God's about.
Very
you know,
true.
those people who are suffering, those people who've, you know, been affected, you know, so badly by COVID or the loss of job or what have you. We're supposed to be loving on them. We're supposed to be, you know, even if we're not giving, you know, if we have it, sure, you know, we can give, but we can also give support. You know, I mean, that's what it's supposed to be, you know, about reaching out to the community and showing his love, not for the purpose of gain, not for the purpose of, oh, look, I turned I got this many butts in the seats, you know,
Right.
at my church. It's never supposed to be about that, because people are not stupid.
Right.
They see an agenda. I've seen it on my own, you know, whenever I see people like, oh, hi, you know, just, oh, great, I'm a project, you know,
Yeah.
you know, so I just think that this is a time that we should be going back to the basics.
I agree. And I think that needs to be the consensus across the board. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. You know, too many pastors have become more concerned with the business side of church, you know, and I got to be honest, just from me observing it, it seems like it's more prevalent this year. You know, people, you know, first time you couldn't go to church. Oh man, there's money being lost there because there's nobody in the church. So there's nobody that can give in the offering plate. There's nobody that can pay their tithes, or, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And so
I will say this to chime in real quick.
Yeah.
Is because of the whole fact of COVID and what we're talking about right now, is the growth for online giving has now emerged at an all-out exponential rate. You know, digital tithes, digital offering. Because you ever think about things, you take the people out to church, and what are we going to do? We're going to find a way to monetize what we're monetizing. And
that's exactly my point.
Sure enough, the church found a way to make money when people ain't in church no more.
That's right. That's right. And I think the consensus across the board was like, well, we gotta be able to keep the church doors open. So even though you can't come in, make sure you're still giving, and you're still giving.
Prosperity.
You know, and it's like, what about the ones that lost their job? How do you expect them to give? They're still trying to figure out how they're going to pay rent. You know, and going to the online services, and then, you know, a lot of people didn't like that. They wanted to be in church, which I totally get, you know. Then they came up with the idea for drive through or drive in church, and it just, I don't know, to me, and I'm speaking for myself, this isn't anybody else, this is just my opinion, so if you want to get mad at me. But to me, right away, it just became kind of gimmicky. Like another gimmick to see how we can get people to come so they can keep giving. You know what I'm saying?
Interesting point.
It can go both ways, honestly. Because, yeah, it can be a gimmick. I can see the merit in it, because I do remember, you know, seeing it on my own. And there were this was around the time that we were just coming out of, like, the shelter in place. You know, people were just wanting to get out and see their friends
for sure,
again,
for
you know.
sure.
So there's merit in that. But I think the obligation needs to be taken away. I think that's what, you know, a big part of it is. And it's kind of hard for everybody to relate to that, just because that's kind of more for people who are like who've been going for like long periods of time, the ones
Right.
who are more involved, the ones who lead or are on staff. It can get tiring, because a
Or
lot
that
of
have
time,
church guilt.
yeah. So yeah, that's a lot. But I just think this is definitely a time to, get back to those basics and just reach out to those around you, even if it's just as simple as, hey, just know that I'm thinking about you. I'm here if you need somebody to talk to or pray for you. I think just that would be a really nice breath of fresh air in the midst of everything that's been happening.
I would say this is this whole shelter in place thing. It spiked domestic violence. It spiked suicide.
Yes.
And what else did it spike? Alcoholism.
Yeah.
Obesity.
All of those.
Obesity.
What are you trying to say, dude?
But I would say this much is I can speak on the fact of the whole suicide part. Is I've struggled with it for many years, and when they put a shelter in place and I got moved to work from home, at the time I just couldn't handle it.
Yeah.
It was just way too much. My kids always being there, I'm always there, and it was just like I need to end this whole thing. It takes a toll. It really does.
Yeah, I mean, it takes a toll on people who don't struggle with, any kind of mental, issues or anything. But yeah, I mean, having kids around you, not having a place to kind of gather your thoughts, just being there, having, with yourself,
Literally in the moment all time.
Exactly. I know I went through a pretty hardcore depression, like the first few months or so of that. And then especially me.
Sorry.
Oh, well, I mean, me personally too. I was furloughed for a while, and even though I knew that it wasn't a personal decision, at the same time, you feel rejected.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
You feel useless,
Yeah.
because you're not working. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Here, let me try this thing, and to keep my mind off of it. And
That thing didn't help.
yeah, that's hard for anybody, So
Yeah.
I mean, the stuff that people must have been struggling with, especially, those who deal with depression or what have you. I mean, that's
Is that why
lot.
you took up chicken whispering?
Depression.
Was it depression?
No, it's a little mix of a lot of things. So for us, we were already doing gardening, but once COVID happened, it really ramped up. And at one point, we just didn't know what anything was going to look like. So for
That's
us,
true.
it was more, it was more along the lines of how do we survive or self-sustain as much as possible. That's why we got the rain barrel and we got some other stuff. Can't drink out of that, but you can water the garden with that stuff. So
Right.
like. All the major change for us was more in self-sustaining moves than anything else,
Interesting.
and
That's
that's where all
pretty
the
smart,
chickens come
though.
from. Yeah,
because for me, I whenever they first did the whole shelter in place thing, we were sure that it would maybe a few weeks, month tops,
Yeah.
and we'll be back in the office. We were planning for it and everything, and the next thing you know, like, oh, another month, like, oh my God, what's happening?
Yeah.
I even thought of getting a small pig because I was like, I got the eggs, I need my bacon. Like, I will learn this.
Wow.
You're not taking my bacon away.
Would you slaughter a pig?
I had to hire someone else. To
I was about to say,
No, if he was hungry enough,
like,
he would.
no, Arnold, I can't. I love you.
Arnold?
Arnold?
It was from
Simpsons,
what was
no?
that show?
Right? Simpsons.
No. If there's a
That
whole
was
show.
Harry, that was Harry Plucker.
No,
It just
it's
didn't.
like Green Acre.
Oh
Oh,
yeah, that's
was
right.
it?
That's
Okay.
right. Yeah, yeah.
I just didn't think Arnold was a pig name. Like, okay,
I'm
Porky.
thinking, hey Arnold.
Well, obviously you didn't watch Green Acres.
No,
Obviously he
apparently
did
I
not.
It
didn't.
shows.
Green Acres is the place to be.
Wow.
Yep, I did it. I went there.
That's right. Green
So-
Acres represent.
So, kind of going off of what you were talking about, I do want to say this. So, there are those of us. Okay, so I'm going to speak for myself because I can only speak for myself. But I know at the beginning of this whole thing, when the COVID started happening, I'll be straight up with everybody and tell you I was one of those people that thought this is just a big hoax. This
Oh,
COVID
yeah, it was a
thing.
conspiracy
It
theory.
was
Oh.
there's a big conspiracy because they're trying to shut down everything and trying to move us into socialism and stuff like that. So for the longest time, I didn't think COVID was a very real thing.
I
But
remember that conversation.
yeah, but having said that, it became very evident not too long after that COVID was real. I lost an uncle in the summer, right actually right at the beginning of the summer. I lost an uncle. And then we started hearing about people that we knew that were getting, sick with COVID. My own family got sick with COVID. My mother, my siblings all ended up having to be quarantined. They're all fine, thank God. They're all good. They all made it through it. But that's when we started seeing that, holy crap, this thing is real. But I will say this: I now firmly believe that it's not a hoax. COVID is a real thing. But having said that, I still do believe that the fear of COVID has been ramped up. That this whole fear that the media puts out there, they want to constantly tell you every day how the numbers are on the rise and how, you got to wear a mask at all times, and just that constant stream of just fear mongering from the media has really taken and blown this thing out of proportion. Because let's be real, and John, you can help me with this one because you're more the guy that listens to the numbers and things like that. I'm more on the emotional side of things, but when it comes to your overall health, a big part of it is your mental health.
Right. And
that does, in a sense, affect your physical health as well. If you're constantly hearing fear and you're being fed fear, I'm afraid I'm going to get this disease. Oh my God, I have to wear a mask all the time. It's going to bring you down. It's going to bring you into a depressive state. Any little sniffle you get, any little sore throat you get, or whatever the case, when you automatically go to that place. And I think that plays a huge role in what's happening to us as a society. I'm not saying people aren't getting sick for real. You know what I mean? But I do believe that there's a lot of people out there that are getting the sniffles or getting a cold, and automatically their mind is going to COVID. And let's not forget about all the inflated numbers that have been proven.
Yep.
Okay? This isn't a conspiracy theory. These have been proven to have happened. The numbers of people dying. There are people that have died during this time over a car accident, and they get listed as a COVID death.
Right.
Again, not a conspiracy. Do the research yourself. You'll see what I'm saying is true. So all of this inflates the numbers, which takes us to the place where we are now, where everyone is just freaking out about, having to wear a mask and having to do this, having to do that. And over the holiday, I got into a bit of a discussion with a family member over this. We had a differing opinion on it.
Yeah.
The family member even went as far to say, "You sound like Trump." I didn't say it out loud, but in my head,
thank you.
Yeah, in my head, I'm like, "Thank you." But yeah,
that's something hard to overcome because at least here in Texas, basically every week there's 1,000+ new cases.
Yeah,
that's what's being reported every week. So
right.
That makes it hard for people that do listen to the news all the time. It's hard to keep a positive mindset when you're listening to all this.
Very much so.
And I mean, like with us too, like I don't think we've lost any family members. Well, we've lost a lot of friends or family friends, and more so their deaths where they had something, and COVID sealed the deal.
Right.
So it wasn't purely COVID that killed them.
Right.
COVID just was that last little bit to cross over.
Right. Yeah, the underlying conditions that basically that they already had.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that to me, that's one thing about this year that I am not gonna miss. But to be honest, we're still in it. Who knows what 2021 is gonna bring? I'm hoping that all this is gonna die down. But this whole, just today, this week I'm working from home. I was in the office last week, and this week I'm working from home. Why?
Nice.
Because they told us that the numbers in San Antonio have ramped up, so they want people to stay home.
Right.
And it's like, oh, here we go again, And I hate wearing masks. I can't stand it, but I hate to say it, but I'm starting to get used to it, and I don't want to get used to it,
Yeah, dude, the other day, we got home, and I had the mask on, and Tracy was like, "Why do you have the mask on?" I was like, "Dang it!" It's like we're nowhere. Getting conditioned.
I've done that before. Like I'll forget that I have it on. To me, it's a minor inconvenience. Really,
Yeah.
It's not that bad.
Whatever.
But it's not. It's just anyway. But it's a minor inconvenience, and I don't know. It's hard to say, with the numbers and everything. But I also feel like it's not something to be trifled with. I'm not going to go and play my hand and be like, okay, am I one of those people who will just not have anything? Or, even if I don't die, I mean, I've known people who weren't really in the worst health that got it, and yeah, they survived, but they have, remaining respiratory problems because of it. Or they were really knocked on their butt from it. I don't want it. I don't want to,
Right.
see how I get affected. If I do and, I come through it, then great. But is that something you really want to try? Is that something you want to play with?
Yeah. That one for sure is a better safe than sorry
Yeah.
mentality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But having said that, I also think that, and this is a real touchy subject here, but I believe that we all have the freedom to choose, and that's what it should boil down to. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're sick, if you have any kind of symptoms or whatever, then
Keep your butt at home.
Keep your butt at home, yeah. But if you have to go out, then fine, wear a mask,
Send somebody else.
But if I'm having a conversation with you and you're not sick, I'm not sick, why do I have to have a mask while I'm talking to you? That's the thing that bugs me, and stuff. And again, we live in a free country, and that was one of the things that was told to me during this discussion that I had with the family member. She brought up the thing that oh God, I just had it and I lost it. My point is just that if I choose to take the risk, that's my choice. You know what I mean? I don't think I'm going to get sick. Of course, I'm going to do every precaution. I'm going to wash my hands. I'm going to, if I have sanitizer, I'll use sanitizer. I wash my hands before I eat. That's something I already did to begin with anyway, and I didn't get sick a lot. If I did, I had allergies. I had the sniffles. I haven't, give you a great example. The last time I took a flu shot was probably 2001. Never took a flu shot again after that. Have I had the flu since then? Maybe
Nope.
once or twice, but
Nope.
it wasn't like I had the flu every year or anything like that. You know what I'm saying?
Never got the flu.
Oh, you never got the flu?
I've never taken a flu shot and I've never got the flu.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. So, go ahead.
So, I'm sorry. So, and I get that, you have the freedom to choose and everything, but where that comes in is that you can choose whether or not you get sick, but if you get sick, you bring that home to me.
Yeah,
I didn't choose that.
that's a good point. That is a very good point.
Go to your room.
Go to the living room now.
But you could say the same thing with if I go out and I get a cold, if I get the flu. You've been sick before, or I've been sick before, and I've given it to you, and vice versa.
But never with COVID.
True, but what I'm saying is like,
Should we go to the other room, Will?
See, that's why I said I
might
don't.
need you.
I
We
don't
might
do
need you.
this. I don't do this stuff. I don't care for it because there's no.
There's no winning.
Yeah, exactly. On either case, nobody's going to convince the other person. And
True.
quite honestly, I see it as a waste of energy. And, it's just something that.
no, and I hear that. That's very true. So, having said that, though, what is the answer? Because you're gonna have two sides on this issue. You're gonna have those that are saying like what you're saying. Then you're gonna have those that are saying like what I'm saying. Like well, we have a choice. This is our freedom. This and that. Of course, I don't want my loved ones to get sick, but that is the risk that you take. So, what is the answer? You know what I mean?
Interesting question.
I mean, all we can do is be as careful as we can. We can't be 100% because that's impossible.
Right,
People are going to
right.
get it. They're going to continue to get it.
Right.
The point of all of this, is just to be as careful as possible to minimize it as much as you can. Because whenever everything was first happening, what I had thought was, somebody who works in healthcare goes out, goes and does their thing, catches COVID, they're fine, but then they go to the nursing home that my grandma's out, and then they give it to her.
Right,
At
right.
the 96, that's it, she's gone.
Right, right.
So that's kind of where my mindset was. More than likely, I can get it and get through it just fine, but I could also, in turn, give it to somebody else. And even though that may or may not have happened at some point or could happen, I wouldn't want that to be as a result of me being careless.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Or just
yeah.
like, oh, I don't care, whatever. I'm just gonna, So
Can you not do that on my mic?
there's merit to both sides.
That's why you put the pop filters
Okay.
on.
Yes, I got that right.
Yeah, no, I think in terms as a country, and even though I'm gonna say it, I feel like it's almost impossible. But as a country, we just have to agree on how we're gonna proceed.
Yeah.
All this year has been fighting about who to trust or who to listen to. But only until the country as a whole can agree on some foundation of how to carry this out, then this is gonna teeter on for a while.
Yeah.
And like just like a really good example about some people's hypocrisy. Like when we went to Florida to Disney, we took every precaution, and the parks for sure took precautions. Like if I walked over and touched a rail, the second I got out, or second I took my hand off, there was a staff member sanitizing that.
Yeah. Yeah.
At every like 10 feet, there was a staff member with sprays and wipes and everything.
It's jobs.
So, like they were like super intense. But then during Christmas, we had a family member, which it felt kind of like they were scolding us for even traveling.
Oh, yeah.
And yet 3 days later, they flew to Florida. So I'm there thinking, what the hell, man?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm like, you're scolding me for going, and then you literally go to Florida too.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where it comes back to that all or nothing, them against us.
Yeah.
Just the whole, this side of the argument or that side of the argument without any headway whatsoever. And that's kind of, again, scary, because you had said that in order to get through this, we have to agree as a country to, decide how to do this. Can you see that happening?
No. Like if it were me, like, and I know that this mentality would make a lot of conservatives feel a violation of their freedom. But to me, the whole country truly shuts down for a month, no travel, no nothing. And if COVID is still around, there's something else happening. Because if the virus lasts for 2 weeks and we're all at home, truly at home for a month, then something else is happening. That's
Yeah.
the way I think.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a good point.
Everyone stay home for a month. No one go anywhere. No stores open.
Right.
Like
like
truly,
a true lockdown.
True lockdown. No one's doing nothing. Stay home. Let this virus kill itself, and then we move on with our lives.
But that's pretty much impossible.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying. Like,
That's what I'm saying, like-
mindset wise and economic wise, it's impossible.
Yeah. Because, we can't afford another shutdown.
True.
Yeah, like when we went to Florida, there was a couple that put everyone to shame. They had full on hazmat suits on
Oh my
in
god.
line with us, and they still had a mask underneath the hazmat suit.
Wow.
Oh my god.
And then the little blue things that go on the shoes, they had those on too. Yeah, and like we just saw them, I was like, dang, they're making us feel bad.
Bro.
I was like, they're still traveling though.
I know, right? Just stay home.
Yeah, if you're at that level of walking around with the hazmat suit, stay home.
Like,
Don't
was
go
it
anywhere.
worth all that time to go and
But you realize that's when you realize that Disney wouldn't give them their money back.
Right. That's
No
true.
refunds.
Okay.
Oh, good Lord.
So we're gonna take a quick break. When we come back, we're gonna talk a little bit on the losses we've suffered this year. There's a lot of we lost a lot of celebrities, not just those kind of losses, but also personal losses. We'll touch a little bit on that as well. So more on this year in review when we come back after these messages.
Brake shoes, brake pads, drums, rollers, brake fluid, brake clean, brake hardware, a flush, and a shop fee. I wish there was a place I could take my car to that didn't cost me an arm and a leg.
Well, now there is. Welcome to GA Automotive and Tire, where you can get a brake job for only $199 on most vehicles. That's a complete brake job with brake pads and rotors resurfaced. Located at 4431 Luxinger Lane, Austin, Texas, 78745. For service and prices so good that you'd recommend your family, simply call GA Automotive and Tire. Just dial 512-444-7005. That's 512-444-7005. GA Automotive and Tire. You know, starting a business can be very challenging. Man, starting anything can be challenging, even a podcast. When we started our podcast, we had a lot of hurdles we had to go through. But I tell you what
Will and I are so thankful to have an awesome team of people helping us along the way. And one of those people, well, actually one of part of the team, is Blue Orchid Design Company. They helped us out with an awesome logo, and you guys have seen it every week when you listen to our podcast. They do web design, graphic design, esports logos, business logo creation, product mock-ups, and business consultation. You got to contact them today. For more information, go to goorchid.com. You can also find them on Facebook at facebook.com/Blue Orchid Design Company. This is the team that Big Will and Rob T trust. Give them a call today. Are you looking for your own custom shirt design? Maybe you have an idea for an awesome cap that no one else has, and maybe you think you just don't have enough money to get it to happen? Well, look no further. Call CJ Design. That's right, we're talking custom shirts, caps, stickers, and decals. High quality at the low price guarantee. Maybe you have a youth group, church function, family reunions, work events. Doesn't matter. Call CJ Design for your own specific high quality design merchandise. Call or text at 737-202-8331. That's 737-202-8331. CJ Design, and make sure you ask for Juan.
Sorry.
Oh my god.
Wow.
My bad. I just started laughing. Okay. Anyway, we're about to go into the second segment of this show, but before we do, just as we do every other show, I want to give a shout out to our sponsor for this segment, Silver Spoon Dinner Theater. They're located at 6700 North Interstate 35, New Braunfels, Texas, 78130. For more information, go to silverspoon.com, SYLVER spoon.com. And right now, Mindy's laughing at me because he makes fun of me when I do this. We can also call at 210-865-3711. That's Silver Spoon Dinner Theater for great gourmet food and also awesome entertainment. You don't believe me? Ask my lovely wife. We've eaten there several times. Good stuff with you.
Love it.
Yeah, great stuff. So make sure you go check them out. That's Silver Spoon Dinner Theater. All right. So we're back and we are talking about the year in review 2020. Sorry, I didn't want to burp on the mic. That would have been gross.
Oh, good Lord.
Somebody did that when we went to break.
Yeah, I know, John. So I wanted to talk a little bit about people that we've lost this year. Now, Melissa did an awesome job. She got a few names together of, not just a few, oh my God.
She went through a long list of it.
Yeah. So,
And that was leaving people out
yeah,
like a lot.
so this is basically a list of well-known celebrities, actors, and things like that we've lost this year. And here's the thing. I don't know. I'm sure 2020 is not like the one year that we've lost the most, people or whatever. I'm sure it's that way every year. I mean, people die all the time, but it just seems to be more amplified this year because of everything that's been going bad, I guess, for this year. So let's talk a little bit about some of the celebrities that we've lost over the time. But before you give your list, got to start with, for all of my wrestling fans out there, I actually have a list of the wrestlers
Oh, okay.
that have died
Wow.
this year.
You actually researched this, Rob?
He probably just knows it off the top of his head.
No, I don't know it off the top of my
I'm
head.
actually amazed right now.
Don't be. I just looked it
But
up there at
listen,
the
you
break.
see what you did? You encouraged him to do some work.
I just did it during the break. As I was going through this list, I was just like reminded, like, oh man, I forgot about that. All right. So starting off with January, we lost the great La Parca. Now he wasn't the original La Parca that came out in WCW, but he was the La Parca that came out in AAA. It's a promotion in Mexico, and he made the La Parca character really popular. So he actually passed away, and he died because, if I'm not mistaken, it was an injury in the ring. So he died in January, and then January 15th, we lost the father of The Rock, Rocky Johnson, passed away. former WWF champion, and notably some others as well. April 13th, 2020, Black Demon from Mexico passed away. And April 16th, 2020, the great ring announcer from the WWF/WWE, Howard Finkel. They called him the Fink. He was the real deep voice, live from Madison Square Garden. That guy. He passed away. May 17th, 2020. Now, this one, when I heard about this, it was so sad. Knew this guy. He was in WWE, and he died saving his son's life. His son was drowning, and he saved his son's life from drowning. And then he ended up drowning, and that was Shad Gaspar, who passed away in May 17, 2020. Bless you. I didn't know who this wrestler was, but when I heard her story, it was pretty tragic. But May 23rd, 2020, Hana Kimura committed suicide. She was a wrestler from the Japan promotion. Danny Havoc with CZW passed away May 31st. Now, the next one was a legend. And, Will, you might have remembered this guy. Some of y'all, I'm not sure. But I know there's some people out there remember back in the day with the Von Erichs and the Freebirds and, back in the 80s. This guy was one of the top bad guys, or as they call it in the wrestling business, the top heels. And he was known as Kamala, the Ugandan Giant. He passed away August 9th, 2020. He was actually named James Harris, and he was from here in Texas. And he died from a heart attack. Let's see. Who else do we have here? Bullet Bob Armstrong passed away August 27th, 2020. He was one of the pioneers of professional wrestling. The Armstrong family is one of the legendary families in professional wrestling. For those of y'all that are WWF fans from back in the Attitude Era, y'all remember D-Generation X. You had the New Age Outlaws. Road Dogg is Bob Armstrong's son. So just to kind of give you some context there. Another great legend that we lost this year was Road Warrior Animal, also known as Joseph Laurinaitis. He passed away September 22nd, 2020. I got to meet him, which I will never forget because he was also one of my childhood heroes. Let's see. Who else here? Here recently, the very first Intercontinental Champion in the WWF, he died December 2nd, 2020. That's Pat Patterson. Mm-hmm. He passed away. And then the great Danny Hodge passed away on December 26th. And then also on December 26th, this one shocked me the most, and he's the last one on our list, Mr. Jonathan Huber, best known in WWE. He was known as Luke Harper with the Wyatt family. He left WWE and ended up going to AEW, where he was known as Brody Lee. He was 41 years old, and he passed away on Saturday the 26th. That one was a real shocker for me. So
That's this week.
yeah. So it's still being felt, his passing. He was great, not just a great performer in the ring, but he was also a great person outside of it, from what all the people that knew him say. So those are the professional wrestlers that we lost this year. So having said that, I'm going to turn it over to Melissa so she can kind of give us the list of some of the other celebrities that we lost during the year.
Cool. And then, believe it or not, this is by no means a comprehensive list. There's a lot of names on here, but it's not nearly everybody who's passed. I definitely want to encourage you, if there's anybody that I missed, or let's say there's somebody I mentioned and maybe I didn't, quite give them the respect you feel they deserved, definitely comment on Facebook. We'd like to hear if there was somebody who inspired you, who maybe passed away in 2020, and just something interesting about them. I would definitely like to know. I mean, every death, of course, is significant, but these are just some of the celebrities that we've lost in 2020. Of course, January, we've already touched on Kobe Bryant and Gianna. You really can't say enough of that. For me, that's one of those deaths that you remember where you were when you heard about it. For me, anyway.
Right.
It might not be, but I mean, that was such a shocker. We have B. Smith. She was actually a trailblazing model, restaurateur, author. She was actually the first African American to be featured in Mademoiselle magazine. So that was definitely a major loss. Jeanette Dubois, you may know her from Good Times. She also co-wrote and sang that song. Oh, what was it? Moving on up. There you go. Brain fart. There you go. Moving on up. Kirk Douglas.
Wait.
We also lost him, huh?
Janet Dubois. Yeah, it was Good Times, right? Uh-huh. So you're saying she wrote the song for that show or for the Jeffersons?
Wait.
What's the name of the song? Did it say?
Do, 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 do.
I'm asking because the song.
The Jeffersons. I didn't mean. Boo.
Party foul.
Cardi
Well,
foul.
no.
Indeed. No, she was on.
she was
She was
on
Good Times, but
she
helped
wrote
write the song for Moving On Up.
Okay, so yeah, so that was.
So
the
I got those
Jeffersons.
mixed up. I apologize.
No, it's good.
Okay, so Kirk Douglas, we also lost him. Long, illustrious career, and we lost him at the ripe age of, I just had it, I believe he was 103, 4?
Dang.
That's a long time.
Yeah, so, yeah, 103, there it is. So, yes, he definitely... then we have March, Kenny Rogers. Yeah.
Icon, country music icon.
We also lost Bill Withers. Y'all know who
Ain't
that
no
is?
sunshine when she's
Absolutely.
gone.
Ain't no. Oh, okay, we're stopping. Yeah, so we lost Bill Withers. This has definitely been a devastating year for musicians.
Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. Sorry.
She's always gone too long.
Anytime she goes away.
I know. Okay.
Bust down the song real quick.
Great song.
Keep it 30 seconds or less, guys.
Oh yeah. We also lost Max von Sydow. I'm actually a personal fan of his. The man has done amazing things in Hollywood. Most recently, he was the Three-Eyed Raven in Game of Thrones.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's done a lot, and he was a great actor. I'm definitely a fan. So
He was young.
Max von Sydow?
Wait, you said Three-Eyed Raven.
Yeah, not Bran. He
Oh.
was the one who was trying to teach him. Remember?
Oh,
he got-
yeah. Okay, my bad. Shut up, John.
Let her read.
Oh boy.
Go play with your chicken.
Yeah, I was about to say he was 90.
Sorry.
I mean, sure. We also lost Ken Osmond. You may know him as Eddie Haskell from Leave It to Beaver.
Yes.
We also lost James Lipton, who hosted Inside the Actors Studio.
Great show.
Yeah. We also lost Little Richard.
Yeah.
Everybody knows who that is.
Shut up.
30 seconds.
Right. We also lost Fred Willard. Again, I'm a big fan of his. I think he was hilarious. I loved him in all the Christopher Guest movies, and yeah, he had his own style of comedy for sure. Same goes for Jerry Stiller.
Ben Stiller's dad, right? Yeah.
He came out in what was it, King of Queens? He came
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld, of course. I mean, yeah, definitely has his signature.
He was the one that did the whole Festivus thing, right?
Yes, I love Festivus for the rest of us. We lost Carl Reiner, creator of Dick Van Dyke.
John, can you give me a kiss? Thank you.
We lost.
It's a Hershey's kiss, y'all.
Good God. Joel,
That's your husband.
You married that. I'm just kidding.
Joel Schumacher, director. Oh God. We also lost Ian Holm. He's done a lot of things, but you may know him as Bilbo from The Hobbit.
Bilbo, that's who that is.
Yeah. He played
Ollie.
Bilbo.
Oh, man, when you sit there in the break, I was like, who is Bilbo?
Yes. We in July we lost Hugh Downs. Who's that?
Legendary host of 2020.
That's right. We also lost Charlie Daniels. You may know his song "The Devil Went Down to Georgia."
Great fiddle player.
Yeah. Oh, here's another one. Kelly Preston. I remember this one for me came out of left field. I didn't even know that she was sick. And then I remember just seeing one day that she had passed away.
Married to John Travolta, but she
Yes.
was also an actress, right?
Yeah, she'd been in a few things herself, but yeah, that one came out of left field. Oh, Naya Rivera. Do you guys remember that one?
Yes.
It was the lady.
Very
who-
sad.
Yeah, she was on Glee. She had gone on a boat trip with her. I think her son was like 4.
Yes.
Yeah, and she wound up. I think they were swimming. Somehow she couldn't get back on the boat. She made sure she got her son on, and then she wound up drowning. That was super sad. I know she was
Yes.
young. We lost Regis Philbin. Everybody knows who Regis is.
Oh yeah.
Who's
The man needs
Live with Regis and what was it? It was Kathy Lee
Kathy
for a
Lee,
while,
yeah.
Eden's Kelly.
and then Kelly.
Kelly, yeah. We lost Peter Green, who was a founding member of Fleetwood Mac. Malik B. From The Roots. Herman Cain. We lost Herman Cain. I may be mispronouncing this name. I actually didn't know who this was at first.
Who's Herman Cain?
He ran for president.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's see. I lost my place. Olivia de Havilland. I may be mispronouncing that, but she apparently was from Old Hollywood, but she was in Gone with the Wind. And she won a lot of awards in the 40s and 50s. So definitely somebody very accomplished in Hollywood that definitely deserves some respect. August, we lost Wilford Brimley.
Diabetes.
Yes. He did so many things, but diabetes, that just comes to mind. Joe Ruby, he was a co-creator of Scooby-Doo.
Ruh-roh.
Yep. Then we lost Chadwick Boseman, y'all.
Wakanda forever.
Yes, we lost him to cancer.
Now that one was a shock.
Yeah. Yes.
That one was a huge shock.
He was amazing as the Black Panther. I just loved him.
Yeah.
It was so
It's
sad.
so
to-
sad.
Yeah.
He won't bet.
Yeah, it was so sad to lose him so soon. We have Bruce Williamson, who led The Temptations. We have Diana Rigg, also a very respected Hollywood actress, but I know her best as Olenna, or the Queen of Thorns from Game of Thrones. She was one of my favorite characters. She was so no nonsense. She was savage. I just loved her.
Yeah, great character.
I want you to tell her it was me. Spoiler alert. Pamela Hutchinson from The Emotions sang Best of My Love. Y'all, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Whether you,
Very iconic.
yes, very iconic. Whether you agreed with her politically or not, this is a huge advocate for women's rights. Before advocating for women's rights was cool. I mean, she has done so much for, not just for women, but she also advocated for individuals with disabilities, LGBTQ community. She's done so much. So definitely an icon. You already mentioned this one, Rob. Joseph Laurinaitis, Road Warrior Animal. We lost him also in September. And then Helen Reddy, the voice behind I Am Woman. Yeah. In October, we lost Johnny Nash. His a song you might know of his is I Can See Clearly Now.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that guy. He passed away.
30 seconds, Will.
That was 30 seconds, man.
Anthony Galindo Ibarra. Apparently, he was a member of Menudo.
I'm sure Ricky.
You would know.
Ricky Martin is devastated.
Don't act like you don't know Menudo. Don't even act like you did not listen to Menudo.
I never
I'm
listened to
telling
Menudo.
everybody out there right
I've never
now.
listened to Menudo. You
Whatever.
need to stop.
Whatever.
Gabe can testify on your pod.
Man, we were listening to it when you got here.
You need to stop right now.
Good Lord.
Read.
Okay,
It's a long
y'all.
list.
Okay, yes, and that's not even nearly everybody. Yeah. Okay, so there can't be any joking about this one, y'all. Eddie Van Halen.
Rest in peace, man.
Yes, absolutely.
Guitar.
What can you say about Eddie Van
legend.
Halen?
Guitar legend. Guitar god.
Moment of silence for Eddie Van Halen. Okay, well,
Moment, yes.
Yes.
Dead air. Conchata Farrell. She was
Bless you.
on 3.5 Men. She was the one who played the. What?
He said bless you when you said that.
You say Conchata. He said,
Oh,
bless you.
I thought he said like, "Who's that?" or something.
3.5 Men. She was the maid or the
Yeah, she was like
housekeeper.
the housekeeper.
Yeah.
Yeah, the little the wisecracking,
Yes.
sarcastic.
Yes.
Yeah, so she was hilarious.
She was
Sean,
the big chick on the show.
good God.
Will's looking at me like he doesn't know who it is. I was
I
trying to.
don't know who it is.
Anyway, go
I had to
ahead.
look it up.
Sean Connery.
Legend.
Yes.
Screen legend. Loved him in The Untouchables.
Oh yes, The Untouchables. He was amazing in that.
Yes, and of course he
everybody
was-
says James Bond.
Everybody
but
goes
yeah.
to James Bond. I go to The Untouchables because
Yeah.
he was awesome in that movie.
And got that accent. Let me see. A lot of y'all may or may not know this. I remembered her after kind of looking into this, but Nikki McKibben, she was in the first season of American Idol, and
Oh,
I
yeah,
think
you
it
were
was.
telling me.
I think she was number 3, like right behind
Justin and
Kelly Clarkson and Justin Guarini. Yes. Like I saw her picture, I was like, "Oh yeah, that one." She had the really short blonde hair. She would
I
have
remember.
yeah. So apparently she passed away, and
Wow.
yeah, she was relatively young. I think I didn't see the cause of death, but I feel like she was sick.
Mm.
And then of course, y'all, Alex Trebek,
Yes.
man,
Pancreatic cancer.
yes, and man, he fought that because
He
I
did.
know the prognosis was rather short, and I know he kind of outlived that. And yeah, that's somebody I think of as like a quiet icon. You know,
Yeah.
I mean, he wasn't in the media. He just did his thing. But God, how long was Jeopardy on the air?
Oh my God.
I mean, it's still on the air,
50
but
years
yeah,
or something like that?
I'm gonna have to look
Who
that
took
up.
over?
Yeah, somebody look
Huh?
that up.
Who took over?
I have no idea.
I mean, he just
he just passed. I don't think
Yeah.
anybody's taken over yet.
yeah, because I think the ones that he hosted were still.
Oh, that was Price is Right.
Oh,
Oh dear God. Yeah, I haven't heard of anybody taking over his spot yet, but yeah, that one's a huge loss. Ben Watkins, he was the little boy from MasterChef Junior. I believe he had cancer, but
that's
yeah,
sad.
he was like 14, and he just looked like a little adorable kid. You
Real
know, just-
quick.
yeah.
Ken Jennings is a interim host right now.
Oh,
He's the guy
could
that
see that.
won all those.
All the money.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
He's the
cool.
interim host.
Cool.
I could see that.
That's pretty smart, actually. You think about
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Okay, so David Prowse, who played Darth Vader. We lost him last month, actually. Yeah,
I know.
the man behind the.
The breath.
No.
I was gonna say behind the mask,
Not
but
even,
it wasn't
dude.
really a mask.
He was behind. He was the one that was in the actual costume.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
The breath and the voice is James Earl Jones.
yep.
yeah. Okay, and then we're up to December. We lost David Lander, who played Squiggy on.
Laverne and Shirley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's correct.
Yeah.
We lost Tommy Tiny Lister, aka Debo.
Debo.
Yes, I know he's been in some other things too, but to me that's what stands out.
He was
always
he,
he's a
he was
franchise.
also a WWF superstar.
Oh yeah,
Was
that's
he?
right. Uh-huh.
He was Zeus. He fought against Hulk Hogan. Made a movie with Hulk Hogan called No Holds Barred. He had a big old Z on the side of his head.
I remember that movie.
Yeah. But everybody knows him as Debo.
Debo.
You know, Debo. What bike?
It's my bike.
It's my bike, punk.
We
Why
all
you up here bothering this man for your
Sweet
bike?
Jesus.
Tell him, Melissa. Cállate.
Ooh, sorry.
What you got on my 40,
Hey,
homie?
all y'all in heaven, these guys are just playing while I'm trying to read and give y'all tribute.
Hey, that's
but
a
hey,
tribute to him. We're saying his quotes. What you got on my 40, homie? Go ahead.
Are you
Sorry.
quite
Yeah,
I'm done. We're done.
Proceed.
Yeah.
God. Country superstar Charlie Pride, we lost him in December. We lost, I already have John Huber here, Brody
Yes,
Lee,
Brody Lee.
a.k.a. Luke
Luke
Harper.
Harper.
Yeah. We lost Tony Rice, bluegrass guitarist, apparently a guitar icon. And we lost Jeremy Bullock, who played Boba Fett.
Yeah. that
Again,
one
he
so-
was the man behind the
costume.
costume.
Yeah,
Yeah.
not the voice.
Yeah, exactly. So again, not by any means a comprehensive list, but some of the made definitely prominent ones who we lost. We also wanted to give a shout out basically to the 2020 COVID-19 victims, be those who succumbed to it or those who were affected by it. as well as our armed troops have been fighting for us
Yes.
this year amidst all this craziness.
Yes. We got to make a special mention since you said that about Jag,
Yeah.
who passed away.
I
This
thought
year.
about him too.
Passed away this year. We did do a show where we talked with Jag's parents, and we did that in
That was
March.
in March.
March, yeah. So go back and listen to that if you haven't already. And then, of course, we found out today that Jag's grandfather passed away today. So our hearts and prayers go out to the Gutierrez family, Javier Gutierrez, who is Jag's dad, and of course the son of Mr. Gutierrez, who passed away. So our prayers and our thoughts are with them for sure. So a lot of people that have passed away. Melissa mentioned even maybe some of the people you've lost. I know I lost an uncle. Melissa's grandmother passed away this year, which was terrible. A lot of death. But those were just some of the celebrities we've lost. I can't get Debo out of my head though.
I know, right?
I can't get Debo out of my head. That was an unforgettable, iconic character to say the least.
True.
So
He stole. I mean, besides, I can't think of his. God, my brain is not working tonight. His friend, you got no.
oh yeah, Chris Tucker.
There you go. I could not think of his name. Besides Chris Tucker,
Yeah.
he's somebody who also stole the show.
Yeah, for
Oh,
sure.
by far, he
Yeah.
by
For sure,
far stole that
for sure.
show.
Come and get knocked out like your daddy used to. Sorry. That was another quote. Okay, so now I want to pose this out to the group. We all agree
Uh-oh.
that 2020 was a dumpster fire of a year. I mean, we can all agree on that. But, John, I want to start with you,
Okay.
putting you on the spot. Besides your chickens, what good happened for you this year?
Good things that happened.
Yes. Yes, the positivity of 2020. What was that for you?
I think just overall, I guess the positive part is, I got to spend a whole lot more time with my kids than I would in a normal year.
Right.
Especially during that wave of time where everyone was working from home with my company.
Right.
So it was definitely spending time. We got to accomplish things that we've never been able to do before. And I think part of that too is like being forced to stay at home or not go around that much also comes with the end result of you not spending as much money.
Yeah.
So then that gives us room to do other things.
Right.
And then just going to Disney was a huge thing, especially for me, because I'm not ashamed to share it with y'all. The first day of Disney, so when you go to the Magic Kingdom, there's the parking lot, and there's 3 ways to get to the park. There's the ferry, the monorail, and then a bus.
Right.
We chose the ferry.
Right.
And I kid you not, on midway in the lake, I see the Magic Kingdom castle,
No way.
and I've got Sayla there in my arms.
Right.
We chose a spot where we could look outside the ferry,
Right.
and I couldn't help it because the last time I was there was when I was 5, and Sayla was 5,
Oh,
so
wow.
I could not
Wow.
help
Oh wow.
but start to choke up. And then I was thinking about my dad.
Right. Right.
How and I know for y'all have seen it, but even doing that reenactment picture of us in the cars
Right.
was like a huge thing for us.
Wow.
So that trip, going to Disney was great, but it was more of just like that kind of circle of life kind of vibe.
Yeah,
going
for
on.
sure.
Yeah, that was something really awesome. Yeah.
That's really cool.
And then kind of a shout out to some friends. So in Round Rock, some of the bands I play with, there's Puerto Ricans.
Oh yeah, you told me about
So they told us about an authentic Puerto Rican place in Florida, and it was amazing Puerto Rican food. Would not have survived if Tracy was not there with me, because her stepdad is straight from Mexico,
Okay.
born and raised, goes there every once in a while too. He speaks super fast Spanish.
Oh.
Oh,
I don't have enough time to process it. And that is the speed that Puerto Ricans talk. So she had to order for myself, for my mom, for everybody, because we're like, what? Like every time they talked, I couldn't process anything. I would just point that.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Dude.
I mean, there's been a lot of stuff I'm drawing a blank on, but there's definitely been some good moments in 2020. Just the overall vibe is something that we're just not used to.
You were the most non-speaking Spanish Mexican person I've ever met.
Yep.
Holla.
Freaking raises chickens and wears the big straw hat when he's outside doing yard work. Cooks frijolitos and and yet you talk to him in Spanish, he looks at you like you're stupid. Like what?
Dude, today I went to LaGrange and there was an Asian guy who saw me and tried to speak Spanish, and I was like, like
Wow.
see you.
Hilarious. Will, your turn, man. What's some positivity that happened to you in 2020?
This is gonna sound really, really crazy,
Uh-oh.
but one of the positive things that happened in 2020 was the different way we get to do things, like order groceries online, get them delivered to your house.
Yeah.
Like you have fast food delivered to your house. Just the different ways things have changed. We're at a different place and time now
Right.
that allows you to do things,
Right.
which is, in my opinion, really dope.
Right.
My daughter's 4 this year. Just everything in general, like by my family, my kids getting older, wiser. Well, not so much wiser, just more pain in my tail. Don't have any cool stories about Disney. I'm not cool like the chicken whisperer.
Sell them eggs, bro.
I will get to say that this is gonna sound cheesy and corny, but one of the things I was grateful for is really, really grateful for is we added a whole bunch of platforms to this podcast.
Yeah.
And we turned 1 year old. Now we're 1.5. But just the doors that have opened, the opportunities that have opened because of the podcast, and just the different places that we get to be in, people who get to hear us, different countries now who get to hear our voice coming out of now Seguin, used to be Kyle, and the impact we're making in lives in general. To me, that's greater than any achievement across any land in itself.
Cool. All right, Melissa, I guess we're going to have to kind of do ours together.
No,
but-
y'all ain't. Y'all doing it separate. Y'all ain't cut that out. I want different answers too.
Okay, all right. For you personally.
Okay, yeah. Because I mean, the answers that are going to be the same for us, of course.
The
our
Disney thing.
The Disney thing for sure. That was such a great trip.
Yes.
For both of us, we both got to nerd out, and then we, of course, our house. We've been for a few months. It's a huge blessing, and it's a goal that we didn't think that we would. It's something that we didn't think we would have for a long time, if at all. And it's
Very true.
so
Yep.
perfect for us. We absolutely love it. Best thing for me personally, I would say being taken out of my comfort zone in a lot of different situations. Of course, because of COVID, there were different things that I had to do, that I had to let go of. And also just really getting to know myself and be okay with who I am. That was something that I was really able to ponder, I guess, this year. There really is a lot of positive when you sit and think about it. It's just hard to think of all at once. And I'm also definitely with you on the advances with, being able to have home delivery, the no contact, the, curbside type. I mean, it just makes things so much easier. And, these are things that I could, would probably stay, even once things start
They
dying
better
down.
stay.
I know,
They better
right?
stay.
Why wouldn't they?
I mean, how hard? I mean, this may sound bad. But you sit there, you're inside your house ordering groceries, and they just end up at your doorstep. Depending on who you're getting it from, all that good stuff. They end up on your doorstep. Like I did that the first time 2 weeks ago, and I was just like, why do I have to leave my house now?
Yeah. But I mean, especially in situations where you can't leave or it's really, really difficult if you leave. I mean, I'll pay extra, to have somebody bring the
Yeah.
stuff to me, or for a favor or what have
DoorDash.
you. Yeah, exactly. I mean, those things, just,
Watch it with the brand names. They don't have sponsorships.
oh,
True,
but
true, true.
everybody knows those things, but, and those little instances too, where you do see people in the community try to help each other.
Yeah.
Especially when things first started happening, I was seeing small businesses step up, try to give back to the community. Little posts of people trying to, hey, I have this extra food. Who needs rice? Or who needs?
Yeah, we did see a lot of that this year. That was really cool.
Yeah, I wish you heard about that more.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it's more about the doom and the gloom and about the arguing.
Yeah.
But
There was a pizza place in San Marcos. It wasn't just
Oh,
a pizza
yeah.
place either. There was other places too where they were giving away their extra like grocery items.
yeah, like eggs and
Eggs
milk,
and flour and stuff like
fruits
that.
and vegetables. Yeah, and so it was really nice to see that.
For sure. So for me, of course, the obvious.
Wow, were you done, Melissa? He just kind of cut you off, didn't he?
I'm sorry, were you
Did.
done?
No, I wasn't. No, actually, I guess I am. I mean, I can't think of anything else.
There, okay.
Hey, just saying, bro. Just saying.
Wow. Anyway, the
your back, Melissa. Got
the
your back.
obvious,
Thank you.
you know,
We can keep cutting him off,
I know he doesn't like that either.
Anyway, the obvious.
Oh, and there was this other thing that I was.
Hope y'all
Oh,
are
that-
enjoying this. Hope y'all
Yes,
are having
we
a
are.
That's my
blast.
bike.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mhm. Okay.
That's what you get for not sharing the popcorn. He ate it all, man.
Okay. Anyway, so the most obvious, my wife did say, got to go to Disney. This was actually my first ever trip to Disney. I'd never been before, and it was an amazing experience. I of course got to nerd out in Star Wars Land, Galaxy's Edge, and I loved. And here's the thing: this is gonna sound so cheesy, I know, but I'm being honest. As much as I loved being in Galaxy's Edge, seeing the stormtroopers up close, seeing Kylo Ren up close, seeing all these ships and everything, just being engulfed in the whole Star Wars experience, gotta say, I liked a little bit more because I got to see my wife. I got to see her nerd out in Harry Potter Land. That was awesome. It was awesome to be able to witness that. So that was definitely an unforgettable trip. But of course, the topper, man, the icing on the cake is being able to get into this house, because I didn't think this was something that I would ever do, is be a homeowner. So that was definitely a big one. Now, on a more personal note, it was a year of challenges for me personally, but I feel that one of the big things that happened this year, 2020, because of spending more time at home and things like that, I believe my wife and I got a lot closer, and we got to see each other really at our worst. Not in the sense of like we're arguing or anything, but she got to see me in my lowest of lows, depressive state, and vice versa, and to be able to come out on top. And she said it best when we talked about this last time. If we hadn't have gotten this house, I shudder to think where we'd be mentally, or, honestly, because right before probably that day that we came to see this house for the first time, I was at my lowest. That was the day that my uncle died. The weight of the world was on my shoulders. I was not happy at my job. It was just bad. But this house definitely gave us a shot in the arm that we needed. And of course, another great thing that happened to me this year was I left my old job and now have a new job where I work. I work in San Antonio now. I make more money. All glory be to God for that one. And the work I'm doing is not as intense as where I left. So it's good. It's really good. God has been good to us this year. And so that's some of my positives, and I got no choice but to thank God for it. That's for sure. So, so I'm looking forward to seeing what 2021 will bring. And having said that, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we're going to end off this podcast with talking about what some of our hopes are. What do we see coming in the next year? Let's take some guesses here. Let's take some shots in the dark. Maybe, is it going to be, all sunshine and rainbows, or are we going to see the apocalypse? So
there is no in between.
We're going to take a quick break, and we'll come back, and we'll do the third portion of our show, and we'll talk about what's to come. All right, so keep it here. Whoa. Oh, no way. Hey, Will.
Yo, what's
Get
up?
over here. Look at this.
What am I looking at?
I'm in Facebook right now. Look at these numbers.
Dude, what did you do?
Dude, look at these numbers now in Instagram.
What? How?
Yeah, they've gone up in just a couple of weeks
How?
by listening to Enid Jones. That's right. So if you are wanting to start a business in 2020 and you wanted to grow on social media, then you know where you need to start? You need to contact Enid Jones, the Social Mermaid. She's a photographer and social media strategist. She will help give you a strategy to move forward in 2020 with a practical, realistic approach or growth. For testimonials, reviews, and more, you need to go find her on Facebook or Instagram. We listened to her, and in just a couple of weeks, man, our numbers are up. So if you go to Instagram, you can find her by pix.by.enid. That's pix.by.enid. And if you go on Facebook, just search Enid Jones Photography. She's not that hard to find. Go and search her today. Hey, what's up, everybody? This is Rob T, from What's on My Mind. Listen, we're about to start the podcast. Before we do, I just wanted to say a few words about our awesome sponsor, Metroflex Gym San Marcos. We've been pumping them like crazy on the show, and there's a reason for that. You see, it was a few years ago. It's probably about 5 or 6 years ago I first stepped into Metroflex. I got to meet the owners, Daniel and Michelle Haggerty, and let me tell you something. Just them alone makes the very reason why I go to this gym. Back at that time, I was at my heaviest at 465 pounds. Yeah, pretty heavy, I know. Anyway, I walked into the gym. I talked to Daniel and told Daniel exactly what was going on with me at the time. I had some health issues and things like that. And he wasn't interested about, the money. He was interested more in me and my health. And I will never, ever forget that. So, it's for that reason alone that I still continue to go to Metroflex. This is about 6 years ago. Now, since then, I've had, fluctuations, of course, as we all do. But the one thing that I love is that these guys don't give up on me. They don't call me a quitter. They don't press me or anything, but they definitely motivate me. If you are looking for a gym that is going to look at you and care for you like family, I'm telling you, you've got to go to Metroflex Gym San Marcos. If you're in the San Marcos area, it could be Kyle, Buda, could be New Braunfels. You're not that far away. Metroflex Gym is really not that far away. Look, the address, it's really simple. It's 2101 Clovis Barker Road, San Marcos, Texas, 78666. That's Highway 123, like you're going to Seguin. It's not that far. Okay, look, if you want more information, look them up online, www.metroflexsanmarcos.com, or give them a call, 512-878-8575. Metroflex Gym. They care for you like family, but also it is the hardcore place to get back in shape. Don't forget, Metroflex Gym. Hey, are you a super fan of the What's on My Mind podcast? Are you ready to show it off? Well, now you can, because we've got official merchandise. You need a t-shirt so that your friends can know who you listen to? All you got to do is contact us, WOMMpodcast@gmail.com. We got shirts, we got cups, we got stickers, all for you. Contact us today. And we are back for our third segment. Now, before we get started, we got one more sponsor to give out there. And we have the man here, actually, Professor Jay in the house from Collector University. Collector University has actually been one of our sponsors now for majority of 2020. And how was Christmas for Collector University?
Oh, that is always fun.
Is it now?
Yes, it's always filled with Funko Pops and action figures, man. And the Pokemon cards.
Oh, wow.
Always doing live feeds of opening cards, and yes, that is a thing for those that aren't into it.
Right.
Instagram, Twitch, YouTube, we're there opening packs to see what kind of rare cards we get. Sometimes you get a really good card. One of the more recent ones that we pulled, I actually got 2 copies of it, and they're worth over $2,000 a piece.
Wow.
Yeah, so there's some turnover in
Crazy.
that stuff. Yeah.
Crazy. So during the holidays, those are the 3 items that are kind of the most.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially the Funko Pops. You
Yeah.
know, and that's something that's like really key when you're looking out for what's coming out. To have that eye to be able to tell where or which pop is going to thrive.
Right.
Because for every run of things that come out, for the most part, there's always going to be a pop. You know, you buy it in the store for like $8.99, whatever
Right,
it is,
right.
but it skyrockets to $200-$300.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. So what I want you to do, check out this Funko Pop that I got for Christmas.
Okay. What you got?
Now, it's this right here. This is the Wolfpack Sting from the old WCW days.
Red Sting.
Yes, Red Sting.
Yes.
Beautiful, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay, so you being the man that knows things, this is something my beautiful wife got me for Christmas. How is this like rare or anything like that? I mean, or is it just a regular old Funko Pop?
Well, let me get my 45 out first. No, I'm just kidding. All right, so brought you back to the streets, Will.
Wow, about to stop popping off, man.
No, okay, so in the Funko Pop world, when a pop is no longer in production and is deemed will never be produced again,
Right.
that is what's called a vaulted pop.
Okay.
So that automatically makes it more valuable.
Ah.
Now, the sticker that you also have on that also means that it's from a very special run. So it wasn't just a Funko Pop that was in circulation. It was already a limited run to begin with.
Oh wow.
So you have a double whammy, high-valued, triple-digit Funko Pop
Nice.
that you don't even have in a hard case.
Sorry.
Way to go,
Which I've
Rob.
told you to get.
I'm gonna have to buy a hard case.
Way to go, Rob.
You know how I have that Darth Vader in the hard case?
Right, yeah.
Should I switch him out?
Honestly, for now, yes.
Okay.
Until you get another one, because that Darth Vader is slowly climbing,
Okay.
but that Sting is going to be significantly more.
Nice. Thank you, honey, for that. I appreciate that.
You're very welcome.
Now, one more question before we go. I mean, this is a reason why we're doing this is because you are a sponsor of the show,
Right.
and I definitely want you to tell people out there how they can get a hold of you. But it's not just those 3 things that you have, right? You have comic books and other things like that as well, correct?
Right, we have comic books and Pogs are still a thing for certain
Really?
people. Yeah,
Wow.
Pogs and this year I resurfaced a lot of old school, and I mean old school, baseball and basketball, football cards.
Wow.
So one of them that I don't know if I want to get rid of myself, just because it was a card dear to my dad, was O.J. Simpson football card.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah. So one of his original football cards is in that collection.
You gotta keep that.
Yeah, and then like San Antonio Spurs when they had the Taco Cabana colors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's a lot of cards like that too. There's a lot of gold there. that
Wow.
I need to go through.
Wow.
Also, Hot Wheels are coming into play. We've got a couple of them that are pretty rare, and you can tell with Hot Wheels if they're rare if they have rubber wheels.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like the case for the most part kind of looks the same, but the wheels go from a hard plastic to a rubber. Those are the ones that are actually worth something. Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy. So, how can the people get a hold of you if they're interested in some of the stuff you just talked about right now, or if they're just kind of looking for something in particular? What's the best way they can get a hold of you so they can maybe start doing some shopping with you, man?
Yeah, so the easiest thing to do is go on eBay, Instagram, and just type in Collector University, and you'll be able to see the products, because we also try to keep up with this weekly, in Pokemon cards. There are these digital codes that come, and that's a whole other thing too. So
Right.
like how people collect the physical cards,
Right.
there's also a digital collection.
Wow.
So those come in the packs, and when we open them on certain days throughout the week, we'll start giving those out for free.
Oh, awesome.
So if you're a follower and you catch it first, you'll get those codes.
Nice.
Because it can only go to one person.
Right.
So they go really quick. but that's why we spread it out on certain days. We'll take all the images the day before, and then every hour on the hour, we'll
Gotcha.
release those images.
Awesome. So just basically search Collector University on Instagram, Facebook, and you said you're on Twitch too?
Twitch is another one, and YouTube. All of them have the same thing, Collector University.
Awesome. Cool. You heard it here, guys. Collector University. That's where you got to go for your pop culture needs. I know I'm going to be doing some more shopping there as soon as the new year is up and we basically kind of come back from Christmas.
Yeah.
Because Christmas kind of knocked
We're
us.
a little cleaned out right now.
Yeah, pretty much. But anyway. All right. So we're back and we're going to talk a little bit about what's to come. 2021 is right around the corner. For those of y'all that are listening right now, that means 2021 is going to be at midnight tonight. And we go into the new year. So it's kind of on the fence. You got some that are hopeful and you got others that are not so hopeful because of the current state of things. So I kind of want to go around the room here and I want to talk about you guys, what y'all's opinion is for 2021. Do you think it's something that we can look forward to as far as hopeful, or is it going to be more of the same? So ladies first, let's start with you, Melissa.
You've kind of got to be hopeful at this point. I mean, cautiously optimistic, you know,
Nice.
because of course my hope is that, you know, all of this craziness will start to die down. We can get some sort of semblance of normal. Whether or not that'll happen or how fast or slowly it'll happen remains to be seen. I know we're going to be seeing the effects of this, you know, pandemic for quite a while. Pardon me. See, 2020 just tried to take me out.
Yep, so did. And Rob
I knew-
didn't try to get from mouth to mouth.
That's
So
later.
bear with me. I still have some. Bear with me. I still have some water in my lungs. I almost drowned drinking water from a Mickey cup. So
Death by Mickey.
right back at you, 2020. Didn't take me out. God, where was I? Oh, because
Hope.
the economy too. I mean, of course, you want to see a great recovery of that. I was actually I worked on a grant for a few months where we helped distribute COVID relief funds to people who were not working, who were about to get evicted, or who were at least getting threatened with it, even though there was supposed to be a stop on that.
Stay in place.
Yeah, for the evictions. But you know, there's so many people who were either are still out of work or who were out of work and are still seeing the repercussions of that. So just seeing a recovery there, that would be great.
Cool. Will?
So, I'm looking to win the lotto. I'm just kidding. Just kidding. No, for 2021, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I'm gonna share this, and I haven't really told anybody about this. Not even Rob. As crazy as that may sound.
Uh-oh.
So, secretly behind the scenes,
No more podcasts.
not for the next 6 months. No, just kidding. I've been trying to work on some things about changing the podcast up and changing the platform base and what we do. And I've kind of been in contact with some people. Can't say who, can't say where. Just know that I'm hoping to make 2021 a what's on my mind bigger year. Wink, wink,
Nudge, nudge.
nudge, nudge, TV, nudge.
Really?
Ooh,
So
all right.
we'll see what happens. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I've been working on the last couple months.
Come here, bro.
Get a haircut.
Man. I have to change my wardrobe.
Just saying, that's what I'm hoping for, working on. Personally, my personal things is 2021, I want to leave the door open for something great to happen. Just something amazing to happen. A movement, a business, something. I just feel that it's going to be, you know, I've been going through so much for so long. I just hope that 2021 brings me liberation and freedom.
That's pretty awesome. All right. John, what about you?
Man, I got a lot to say. I'm gonna have to condense this.
Keep going. Don't worry about
Share.
it. Sharing is caring.
Well, of course, I hope for the best. I saw a meme that's kind of funny. So it's of 2021 telling 2020, hold my beer.
I was going to share that.
What if it's not the end of a bad year, but a beginning of a bad decade?
Yeah, I know, right?
Shut up.
So like, well, like, okay, so like, economy wise, so it really won't affect us so much as it'll affect the next generations. But here's a number to throw at you. When it comes to existing cycling money that's out there, 35% of that was printed this year for COVID relief during all these lockdowns. So slightly over a third of all the money that exists was all printed in 1 year.
Wow.
Dollars wise,
Right.
not the others. I'm all dollars. So when it comes to owing, you know, all of that goes to the Federal Reserve. Federal Reserve is not actually part of the U.S. So when we say our country's in debt, that's the main group that it's owed to. And that's a whole thing. That's a whole nother podcast on its own.
Gotcha.
Like significantly on its own.
That should be a text podcast.
Yeah, right. And you know, in terms of politics, you know, they keep saying that there's still a chance. I don't understand it enough to see how there's a possible chance for Trump to get it again. I think no matter what, we're going to see tension. It really wasn't covered that much, but I believe it was in Oregon. You know, conservative Trump supporters tried to storm the state house there. And they were actually getting slightly aggressive. Not to the level that we've seen throughout the rest of the year,
Right.
but now you're starting to see a shift in this side of political groups starting to feel like, you know what, enough is enough. Now we're going to take things in our own hands. So I don't know what that looks like. So if Trump does some super crazy Hail Mary to where he is getting a second term back to back, I think that's going to spike a lot of these riots again. Because if you haven't noticed, you know, after the elections were announced, before the debates, all these protests have calmed down. Mm-hmm. Or they're just not covering it anymore.
Right.
One of the two. But either way, the timeline doesn't make, or, you know, it raises an eyebrow. That's all I'm
sure.
saying in terms of the protests.
For sure.
When it comes to the church, I think this year was a shakening for the church in general. Mm-hmm. Who's a real Christian, who's not, and that doesn't mean who went to church and who didn't. It's who actually believes in God and trusts that He is going to take care of us in whatever shape or form that is. So what I feel when it comes to ministry is that what I'm hoping for is a electric overflow in the country. And I don't really consider this like an announcement.
Right.
But like the guys that I played with last year,
Yeah.
we all talk all the time. And they all want to get back out there. So I told them I don't want to go out as John Anthony anymore. I want to, if we're going to be a band, we have to have a band name. So we've all talked.
Falling Rain.
Right, no. so
Black Mice?
so we're gonna start practicing in January. Start writing new songs, but it's not just gonna be about recording and playing shows. All the guys in my band are actual theological degree people. So we're gonna start doing videos of biblical topics, and that's gonna be another side of it. And we're also gonna buy Bibles to give out for free wherever we go.
Nice.
So, like, what I told him, I was like, look, like, of course I want to do the music side of things, but I really want to push the gospel itself.
Right.
So that's something that we're planning to ramp up, however this looks in 2021. I'll leave it there.
Okay.
Cool.
That's pretty cool. I find it funny how you say it's not an announcement, but
It wasn't an
Kinda
Well, no
is.
one cares. That's why it's not an announcement.
no one cares.
Been out of the game so long, it's like, nah.
It's like, who's John? again?
Exactly.
Then there's others that are like, it's about time. All right, so my turn. I have to agree with the consensus in the room. I think you have to have hope. You've got to. Without hope, you're lost. You know what I mean? You've got to have hope. So I have hope. I know that for this next year, I know I'm kind of now going into that whole territory of New Year's resolution, which wasn't my plan. But
Oh no!
but to be honest, I don't want. It's going to be really hard, but I want to try not to focus too much on like the politics of things and stuff like that. But like what John said, I think focusing more on getting the gospel out, telling people about Jesus, helping people more, because there is one thing that 2020 has brought out in me, and that's anger. You know, the anger at the way things are. This past week with this whole bill being passed, the stimulus thing, and all that's happening, I told Melissa, I go, I hate my government right now. I really do. You know, because they obviously do not care about us as people, you know? And so that's just a reminder to me, like what you were saying, John, that our hope needs to be in Christ. Our hope needs to be in God. He's our provider. It's not the government, you know? Yeah. And so that's one thing I definitely want to push more. How that's going to look, I don't know. Because right now, if you ask me, are you going to go, you know, find a church? Are you going to, I honestly can tell you right now, I'm not planning on it, you know. Doesn't mean I'm not open to it, of course, but we'll have to see what happens. But I definitely want to kind of be more Christ-centered this coming year. I was very blessed to get a text from my brother, and he's invited me to join him on a Bible reading thing for the year. And I told him, yeah, I'll be more than happy to. I've also been noticing some things in my brother. This is my brother that I don't really get along with, or I haven't gotten along with in the past. He's made some significant changes.
Nice.
He was the one that called me and asked me if I wanted to join him with this whole reading the Bible in a year thing. He came over for our Christmas celebration. He brought his daughter, and we've been talking a lot more. He actually shared with me that he was given a drum set. You know, I gave him my stick bag with my drumsticks, and you know, so there's been a lot of stuff significantly that's happened over the past couple months with me and him. So I'm very hopeful that there's going to be more of that in this coming year. You know, so I mean, definitely with having this house, a lot more stuff happening here in just in our home within the next coming year. We are firm believers that God is the one that opened the door for us to have this beautiful home. And we also believe that with that means using it for his glory. So we're talking having Bible studies here, having, you know, who knows, a house church, not my house church, of course, but like, you know, the Brotherhood has been having services and stuff. They want to have it here. You know, I'm open to that as well. Worship nights, whatever, you know, that's what I believe God blessed us with this for, so that we could use it for his honor and for his glory, not just for us to enjoy, which we do, but to also do things like that. So, yeah, I'm going to stay hopeful, but I would be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit concerned, you know, with the state of the world, the way things that are now. Let's be real, y'all. It doesn't look very good. It doesn't look very promising, right? I am one of the crazies that believes that Trump's still going to win. You know, there's a lot of people that don't believe me, including my lovely wife. You know, Will apparently too. But I'm just being realistic, you know. And the thing is, it's hard. I'm trying not to dive into those feelings, because there's that part of me still that wants to be angry about Biden and all that other stuff, and I'm trying not to go to that place. So all I know is that, you know, tonight being New Year's Eve, I'm planning on celebrating with friends and sleeping in tomorrow, you know, and getting the year started right. So I hope that all of you listeners out there that are listening are at least going into this new year with some hope. I know a lot of you out there are probably also very scared because you don't know what's to come. Is COVID going to be gone? Should I take the vaccine? Should I not take the vaccine? There's so much stuff right now that is leaving us very uncertain, and I get it. But for those of you that have hope in Christ, you got to keep it there. We have to look to him for comfort. We have to look to him for the answer and believe that no matter what happens in this next year, in the next 20 years, if we keep our trust in him, we're going to be okay. Because here's the bottom line. At the end of the day, when everything is all said and done, we win.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So we are hitting unprecedented times. This whole year of 2020 was something we have never seen in our lifetime. We've never experienced before. We have seen the good side of it. We have seen the ugly side of it. Let's hope that this next year in 2021, we see more of the good side of it. Let's hope that we remember that we're humans. You know, we are all part of one race, and that's the human race. It ain't about the color of our skin. It ain't about what side we are politically. You know, we got to come together. We are all on this rock together, and I mean, we can't let this world just collapse on itself. We have to encourage each other, love each other. It's up to us. You know, it's up to each and every one of us to do our parts. All you guys looking at your phones, y'all need to quit. That's just them saying, "Oh, guys, you're gonna keep talking."
It's a secret, subtle clue, Rob.
Not very subtle, Will.
Oh, let me move it out here better.
Well, I mean, I think it's really important that Christians stand up, and it's not even necessarily of whoever sits on the presidency.
You were gonna say throne.
Yeah, that's England. I've been watching The Crown too much. No, I mean, you know, like, I feel like the deeper this stuff gets in, the more the message of hope and salvation needs to be pushed.
For sure.
You know, we've, you know, one person that did pass away this year that affected me personally was just strange because I've never feel this way about an apologetic, but is Ravi Zacharias. He was another one that passed away. And before him, I think it was last year, but one of his predecessors, Nabil, I always say Q because I can't pronounce his actual name. But these are individuals that study the Bible deeply and then go in front of colleges and respectfully not only shares the message but leaves a Q&A for people with opposition to have the platform say their piece, and then they give them answers that are really hard to dispute.
Yeah.
And with all these individuals passing away, I kind of feel like, you know, to an extent, it's kind of like God saying, hey, the rest of you need to step up.
Yeah. Sorry, that's my dog
No, I know.
scratching itself, apparently.
It's like, is she
It's
making
getting
that
the
noise?
itch.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. I think if you're listening to this and you are a believer, share the gospel. It's not, we can't overthink it. It's as simple as telling your coworker or telling your friend or telling your family member that doesn't know about the Lord. Just telling them your own testimony about how Christ changed your life. It's that simple. If we all do our part, you know, we can definitely spread this gospel, and there will be a revival in this land that we really need.
Love on those around you.
Yes, for sure. For
Yes,
sure.
Love on those around you and be the change.
Definitely. So, having said that, we are winding down. I want to take this last few minutes and I'm going to go around the room and just give you an opportunity to say one last thing regarding going into the new year. Just what do you want to tell the people? And this time I'm going to start with John.
Buy chickens. I was ready this time. No, I think coming into 2021, we all need to have a positive mentality, and I think just overall, we just need to learn how to converse with one another. You know, going back to the apologists, you know, there's one John Lennox that's still alive, and he'll debate people like Richard Dawkins, who's a heavy atheist.
Right.
But out of all the deep thinking that goes on these debates, I think one thing that people are missing is that they are civil. Not at any point are these two gentlemen who are extremely opposite in thought are being mean or ugly to each other. So I think that's something that a lot of us need to learn how to handle, is that when someone comes to you with a different mindset, not to automatically just go straight to offense,
Right.
and just be willing to stay open to what someone is speaking of. Earlier this week, there's a professor of philosophy, I believe. No, I'm sorry, psychology. Jordan Peterson. And it's a terrible paraphrase, but it basically went like his message to a college campus was, when you get riled up, you're at your most disingenuine in thought because you're wrapped up in your emotions.
Right.
When you're able to stay calm and project yourself in that manner, that is when you are more at true with yourself versus getting wrapped up in emotions and saying things that you may not have meant to say.
That's good. That's good. Very well said. Very well said.
Leave it
Very
there.
well said.
Yeah. Will,
Dang it, I knew you were coming to me.
don't say bye chickens.
Download our podcast.
Yeah, definitely that. Bye turkeys.
Invest in gold. What's the question again? I forgot. Sorry.
Just one last thing to leave the listeners with, as we go into 2021. One last thing you want to say. Put it this way, man. This is the last podcast of 2020.
Oh, yeah, it is, isn't it?
So
I didn't realize that.
yeah. So what's that last thing you want to say for the end of this year?
Okay, so I got about 20 minutes to say this now.
Oh dear Lord.
Hey, how long you took last time?
And to the phone we go.
No, all I want to say, and be very honest, and be very quick and brief with this, 'cause I'm not going to take 20 minutes because everybody's got my phones now. I do want to say that if I've offended anybody throughout this last year, be ready because next year's going to be even worse. On top of that, I also want to say that
So what did I just talk about?
anywho, so I just want to say that be ready because we're about to hit into a time that what's on my mind is about to do something totally different that is never done. We're going to push the boundaries and make a new change. So if you enjoyed the last 18 months of our podcast, strap up. It's about to get better, right?
Oh yeah.
And that being said, I say this with all honesty and all integrity. I love every single one of my listeners who listen to this show. I think everybody who's listened to it, recommended it to a friend, shared it with a friend. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. We also want to say that if you don't like a show, email me. I respond to every email. You can ask people who've emailed me before. You may not like the answer, but you get the email response. And be ready, because next year, 2021, it's about to be different because we're taking it to a different level. And that's all I got.
Cool. All right, Melissa.
Welcome to the family.
Welcome to the show. Of course, now that you're going to be the third person on the show. But what would you like to leave the people with for 2020 going into 2021?
Don't be a butt. Just I think that's like been the mantra. Just be kind, I mean, I think it all kind of stems, we're all kind of saying the same thing, just we're going to disagree. There should be room for disagreement in this country. Especially the way things are right now. This needs to be a time where we're putting all that aside. We're coming together so we can move forward, because the longer that we are digging our heels in on anything, the slower progress will be made. And not only that, I mean, just it doesn't cost you anything. I've seen this little meme floating around where, you don't know who you're talking to. You don't know what that person is going through, especially, with the pandemic, with all the stress going on. There could be somebody that is on, their last, hanging on by a thread. Somebody who could have lost somebody who is just going through stress that they'd never been through before, who's feeling hopeless. It doesn't cost anything just to be kind or just to let things go. So I guess that's really it.
Be kind.
Yes.
Truer words never spoken. Seriously, I think that's true. You and John both make good points. You're right. There should be room for...
What am I, just chop suey?
You're ready to fight everybody, man. You guys are right. There should be room for debate. And yeah, I think we need to be more kind. We can have differences, but let's not try to rip each other's heads off just because we believe something different, you know? So, great. Ollie off. Great way to end it. So I guess it's my turn. All I can say is, going into 2021, I have to agree with my wife. Definitely be more kind. For myself, being on this podcast, yeah, I mean, definitely going to be respectful and whatnot. I'm sure I'm going to offend people, but that's just because I say things sometimes that can be a little controversial, can be sometimes offensive depending on who's listening. But the one thing you'll always get from me is I'm going to be me and I'm going to be truthful. You know, so that's not going to change. But I do believe we're going to hit a lot more hard-hitting topics this year. I'm looking forward to having the perspective of my wife on this as well. There's a lot between her and I that we're very similar. I mean, that's why we attract each other so well and we're so compatible. But there's a lot also that we differ in opinions on things and stuff like that. So with that, I think it's going to be a whole different dynamic in these next podcasts for these next years to come. So I'm really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be fun. I think it's going to be exciting. I know we'll have John with us on this ride as well. He'll be contributing a lot more as well. It's going to be great, and I am really looking forward to it. But I do want to say, to go off what Will said, I want to thank you all for this past year, for keeping it here, for listening to us. All of our guests that were a part of our show this 2020,
yes,
all the way from, talking about in January talking about New Year, New You, to couples, to all of the musicians we had on the show, to the conspiracy theory stuff, the opportunity to interview a pretty famous comedian, Raymond Orta, to being able to interview an up-and-coming Christian metal band that's about to take over, and that's Relent. We've had so much good content this year, and I'm really looking forward to 2021. So I hope you will stay on this journey with us. So just want to say thank you, everyone, for joining us on the What's on My Mind podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review us on Apple Podcasts. Remember, you can also catch us on Spotify, Google Podcasts, Amazon, iHeartRadio, or your favorite podcast platform. Don't forget, we're also on Stitcher as well. So make sure you also check out our official Facebook page at facebook.com/WOM Podcast. That's facebook.com/WOMM Podcast. Also follow us on Instagram and Twitter, or email us at wompodcast@gmail.com with questions and comments. So until next time, this has been Rob T.
It's Big Will.
And
Melissa.
there you go. And you've been listening to What's on My Mind.